Hey everybody, Eric Stahl, former candidate for Tazewell County Board Chair. We did win the election yesterday, but hey, I wanted to run through some stuff and talk about how things went, and still plenty happy, still smiling about everything, and still work to do. First off, thanks to everybody who sent messages, and oh my God, you can't even believe how humbled I was. I was about noon yesterday. One of my coworkers was looking at me, and she said, "You okay?" I said, I don't know, man. I got like butterflies in my stomach. My heartbeat went up. I think I was having a near panic attack. I was getting so many messages. My phone was blowing up with messages on Instagram, Facebook, obviously texts. It was very humbling. I've never experienced it. I'm sure if you run for office or done anything like this before, maybe you know the feeling, but it was pretty cool. Now, did I expect to ever win? No, that was never really the option. It wasn't initially the option. The goal was to get ballot access. I'm going to talk about that here in a minute. But as you dream, as you have daydreams, like Ken and I were talking about last night at the celebration party, you think, hey, what if I get it? And I certainly was prepared if it came down to it, and I certainly have some strong positions right now the way things are going with state government. I was ready, but it didn't work out that way. Ballot access. Getting back to that, Donnie explained a little bit in a Libertarian Party of Peoria County. I think we're changing the name of the group. He talked about that in a video he made today, and you can check that out. And one of my friends, John, who lives over in Heritage Lake, had said maybe add a little clarity to that. Ballot access would give us established party status. So what we had to do, we either had to get a national, a state, or a county candidate to get 5% of the vote or better. I did that in Tazewell County. Caden did that here in Tazewell County. We 20% or 21% for me. I think Caden got 18%. In Peoria County, they killed it. I think there was 30% maybe for Joe Rush or something. No problem. Knocked it out. County candidates were good. The state and the national, probably not so much. But the good news is we're established parties here. Now, what is an established party? What's the value of that? Well, what is it, September of 19, the press releases came out that David Zimmerman was going to run again for Tazewell County Board President. September of 19. We just got through September 20. It was over a year ago that they had already knew and they were going to be running the candidate because they were an established party. And so if the person chooses for that, they can go, if somebody else wants it, they could fight over that, yada, yada. But they didn't need that many signatures to make that decision. In September 19, as a Libertarian, that was never going to happen. I was never going to run for that position. I don't think anybody in our group had ever thought about it because it would have required 2,500 signatures. And 2,500 signatures in an electorate, voting electorate in Tazewell County of 90,000 people, while that may not sound like that much, I don't have little ladies sitting at tables at local carnivals and pumpkin festivals and things like that getting signatures, for Mr. LaHood, for Mr. Zimmerman, getting you on the ballot. We have to, there comes my cats. Wouldn't be a night on the camera without my cats. So if you hear, ow, that's them. Didn't have the luxury of little ladies and little nice volunteers, not little, anyway, regular size, sitting there getting signatures for us. 2,500 required us to be out and about canvassing. And I can tell you, as somebody who just canvassed cars and coffee and talked to people out on the streets and went around getting signatures, it's hard work. 2,500 signatures, astronomical number. And the Libertarian Party is not rife with funds to make that happen. We can't pay people, so it's all volunteers. But as it turned out, we got it. So now, in the future, because we have ballot access, sorry, it's getting long, I won't need 2,500 signatures to do this again in 2 years. Or 4 years. I'll only need that 250. And that's for anybody running for county office in Tazewell County or Peoria County. That's huge. That has not happened before. There were people who voted for Libertarian for the first time, like Donnie said in his speech before. And actually, I talked to a lot of those people saying, never voted Libertarian, but I voted for you. It's a great feeling, and it's awesome to know the party actually got some traction in this election. So let's go to my election. Eric, you disappointed. You only got 21%. When I signed up for this, I signed up for it to get 5%. I wanted to get ballot access. And it seems pretty easy. Actually, if you think about it, there were 12,000 undervotes. That cat, I think he's eating some. There were 12,000 undervotes in the last election for David Zimmerman for that position unopposed. 12,000 people looked at their ballot and they said, you know what? I'm not voting for that guy. I'm not going to vote at all for that position, which seems bizarre because every time I go and vote at Allentown Hall, and I undervote, the judge always says to me, you undervoted. You know you undervoted. I'm like, yeah, I know I undervoted. I didn't want all these people. Okay, we'll just want to make sure before you put it in there. So to me, it always seemed kind of like, well, if somebody undervotes, that's just got to be the weirdest thing in the world. I must be the only person who undervotes. Apparently, that's not the case. 12,000 people did in the last election cycle, and there's probably other positions it was more or less. But all I thought to myself was, if I'm going to get 5% of the vote, this should be a no-brainer. I'll be the only guy against Zimmerman, so I'll get 5%. I'll help the party out, and in the future, somebody else can run. Maybe that'll be me. Maybe it'll be somebody else. Who knows? What's funny is by the time it all panned out, and I can tell you, I was sitting at Mac's in downtown Peoria after a day of, like I said, butterflies in the stomach. And that first batch of results came out, and I think I had like 300, and Zimmerman had 3,000. Well, that still would have been 10%, but it's still a couple hundred versus a couple thousand. It still felt really bad. I didn't puke, but I thought about it. As the night went on, as we got to 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, the numbers started ratcheting up, and as it turned out, I got just over 13,000 votes. In my head, I thought, well, that's those 12,000 undervotes plus like 1,200 of my friends in Tazewell County. And that logic prevailed until today when I started doing the math on it. Do you know, between myself and Zimmerman, there were still 7,000 people who undervoted. 7,000 people looked at us and said, yeah, this cat. Sorry, dude. I'll feed you in a little bit. There were still 7,000 people who decided that they just didn't like the candidates on there. Maybe they were Democrats. Maybe they're just oppositionists. Maybe they didn't know either of us and decided they're not going to vote for us, which is probably the smart play if you didn't research them. So that was kind of a relief because that meant I didn't just get 12,000 people who were upset and didn't want to vote for the established candidate. I got some goodness votes, and there were still people out there that weren't satisfied. So pretty cool. Now, if I could have somehow swayed those people, I could have been up to 20,000 votes and maybe gotten 30% of the vote. Would have been cool. Was never the goal, but as it turned out, I'm very satisfied. So I did post some stuff after the fact, and I think I was just a little bitter when WEK or somebody posted an article saying, oh, Zimmerman beats Eric Stahl. Boy, you know, I contacted every media outlet saying, you have articles, you know, listing this candidate as running unopposed, and I never could get any traction, whether it was Journal Star, whether it was NPR, whether it was, I'm trying to think, HOI, any of those news sources, got nothing. But then the night of the election, there pops up my name, beats Libertarian Challenger. That's what I'm going for. Sorry, this video is getting long. It's 8 minutes. I'm not deleting or editing anything, so you just have to deal with it. So that's ballot access, and that's why I ran, and I think it's pretty self-explanatory. We are very happy, and I think we'll run again. So unless something else opens up, something else changes, maybe we'll run for a different position. But here's what I know, and here's what I learned. There was a lot of things that when I ran for this position, people said, oh, you need to complain about this, you need to go after him, you need to say this or that. Not my style. I wasn't really going at it to battle somebody, and I hate the national politics scene as it is. So I wouldn't, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to sell it on my own value. But we had limited time. So at first, you get in and say, I'm just getting the 5% so we can get in and get out, and we'll be done. I've solved the party problem. But as we get going further on, and we start seeing what Pritzker's doing with the state, you know, when I hear stories about, oh, the current county board chair is inactive on this gun measure, we're not doing this, you know, you need to step up. Not my game, not what I was into, but I understand, I'm listening. But as we start getting more and more into Pritzker's shutdown orders for today, you know, for restaurants, and I see the mayor of East Peoria, John Call, who I'm impressed with, I see, you know, how leadership is taking a hold of some mayors in some communities and civic leaders. I say to myself, well, this has been the calling card of the current administration in Tazewell County the whole time that I've been running. I've been watching for 3 months. Silence. Nothing. I don't know. I mean, there was no signs. There was no advertisements. There was nothing. So it seems there's a lot of hubris on the part of the Republican Party of Tazewell County to believe that you're going to vote for them no matter what they do. They didn't spend a nickel on advertising, and they knew they were going to get your vote. And did you demand anything from them? Did you ask anything of them? Did you say, you guys, hey, the governor's tearing down small business all around us. What are you going to do? Silence. Silence. It blows my mind. So if anything came out of this, I hope that's the case. And really, this is where I started kind of saying, you know what? Maybe the 5% goal isn't really isn't enough. I have friends in small business. I have friends who own restaurants. I have friends who work at restaurants. My wife and myself worked at restaurants when we were younger. We know the game there. It's about tips. It's about keeping people coming in the door. Takeout orders are not enough to keep a staff going. So if you're a restaurant that's saying, well, we're going to take it down and takeout orders, and work from 5 to 8, that's not getting it done. That's not taking care of your bartenders, not taking care of your waiters. That's expecting unemployment to help those people out. And you know as well as I do that somebody on unemployment makes 2/3 of their wages if they get it in a timely fashion, and if everything has been consistent on their tips. And during COVID, good luck. There's no plan, there's no fast action, there's no aid from anybody. The governor has set an order saying shut down your restaurants, only have outdoor dining, takeout. I think you can still get outside dining if he hasn't banned that. But here's the deal. If you're going to do all that, you're not being rewarded with anything other than I'm not going to shut down your business. So when Call from East Peoria says I'm not going to prosecute or I'm not going to enforce those orders, that's leadership. Because here's the deal. Pritzker's not leading anything. Pritzker's telling you that you're going to shut your business down, and by the way, there's no money set aside for anything. And he knows as well as I know, and you know, the federal government has no aid right now because it's an election cycle, and it doesn't matter whether it's a Democrat or Republican, nobody's getting anything from the Fed. So unless Pritzker's going to do something, which they're broke, Pritzker pretty much needs to have a plan or let people do business as usual. And I'll tell you, from everything I'm seeing on the news right now, nursing homes are the worst place to be. It's certainly not a restaurant, so you need to be in those nursing homes cleaning those suckers up. Sorry. I mean, it's just the way the news cycle's working. The other thing I would say, I got into this talking to all my neighbors, and the rural internet situation is a disaster. The rural infrastructure, our electric lines, our internet. You know, I live in an area between Morton, Mackinac, and Tremont. Pretty decent sized towns. I wouldn't call them affluent, but I'd say it's a decent area. And believe me, my property taxes would make you think they're affluent. But I can't get internet. My landline that was from Frontier, terrible. My MiFi hotspot from Verizon gets it done, kind of, but I have an antenna on the, for the whole house to share MiFi. Not great. Hey Eric, what about line of sight? Can't get it. I sit apparently in a spot that I need a 50-foot tower, and that's not even a guarantee if I build that 50-foot tower, which is about $2,500. So if you got $2,500 to shell out just to maybe get internet, that's for you, but it's not for me. So I got kids in high school, I got kids in college, and if things crack down the way they look like they're going to this winter, I need solutions. And so if that means going to the school board, if that means talking to the grant, apparently it was $3 million shell at Tazewell County. I need to know where that money's went. So going forward, I guess that's a great segue. Going forward, does that mean am I going to run for Tazewell County Board again? Am I going to do this or that? I know one thing for sure. As I ran the Beer Report for years, thebeerreport.com, I think I'm going to emphasize more on the local restaurants and local businesses, and whether that means, really clamoring at the Chamber of Commerce's and looking at Tazewell County. I love Tazewell County. I mean, I guess I could go over to Peoria County and I can celebrate their small businesses, but frankly, I am a Tazewell County guy, so I'm going to start there. So I'm going to keep pushing that direction. I'm also going to keep trying to push on this rural internet, and if there was grant money, I'm going to find out where it went, and I'll use this Facebook page if I have to. All right, I guess that's it. I thought I wouldn't get to 16 minutes like Donnie, but apparently I'm at 14 minutes, and this is ridiculous. So if it seems like a diatribe, well, that's what it is. Last but not least, thanks. Thanks a ton. Thanks for everything you did. If you liked what you saw, maybe you could throw something in the tip jar. If you go to planetstall.com or Planet Stall, I think will get you there, or ericstall.com, you get to my Facebook page. But Planet Stall has the donate button. There's PayPal, there's Venmo. And there's my address if you want to send a check. I did all this out of my own pocket. The Libertarian Party has no money whatsoever. I did get a couple $100s in donations, and they help out a ton. But I can tell you, as we got towards the end, I was really pushing those Facebook ads, because I'm gonna tell you what, the governor got me heated. This is ridiculous. You know, I go to a restaurant like the Harvest. I love the Harvest Cafe. I could tell you great stories from all the family events, all the stuff we used to do down at a restaurant like that, and even Haynes on Main, family parties we do over there. And this stuff is all coming to a head, and there's nobody to help these people, these waiters, these wait staffs, these bartenders. It's ridiculous. So I did boost. I did spend some money on some Facebook ads, and I did what I thought was right. And you know what? Like I said, maybe I daydreamed, but I hope, if anything came out of this, that you're more awake. I hope you see this. I hope that you demand more, and I hope you tell the county board you demand more, because I certainly now at this point understand that's basically the president of the county, and we need to hold all these guys and the whole county board accountable. There's a bunch of new ones, and I don't think there's a single Democrat on there now, so it's all Republicans. It should be everything you want, but guess what? Not a lot of change going at the top, so we need to hold their feet to the fire and look for change going forward. And I'm over 16 minutes. Donnie, I beat you. Donnie Henry, by the way, everybody, the ringleader of the Tazewell County and Peoria County Libertarians. Thank you, Donnie, for everything you've done for me. So that's me. That's Eric Salt. I think I pretty much killed everything there. And if you have any questions, please feel free to shoot them to me. Will get to you as best I can. And of course, I still work 50 hours a week, 60 hours a week if I have to. I'll be working Saturday, and I'm still going to try and race on Sunday. So whatever I can pull off and make time for, I'll certainly get back to you. And if you have any information or need any help with any projects based on those other stuff I was talking about, I'm game, man. Let's do it. I got some free time now. Thanks again. Appreciate it. Good night. I'm hoarse. It was too long. 17 minutes. Bye.